Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Naram Chaiva Narotamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Tato Jayamudirayet
Tato Jayam Udirayet
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati Ruttama Sloke
Bhagavati Uttam Ashloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki
Bhaktir Bhavatir Na Istiki
Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 1 Chapter 17 Verse 38 Sutta Vacha
Utau Acha
Abhyartitastadha tasmai
Abhyarthitasya Tatmasmai
Sthanani kalaye dadau
Asthanani Kalye Dado
Dyutham phanam striyasuna
Dyutam Panamistriya Suna
Yatra dharmas chaturvidha
Yatra Dharmas Chaturvida
Sutta Vacha
Suta Uvacha
Abhyartitastadha tasmai
Abhyarthitastada Tasmai
Sthanani kalaye dadau
Asthanani Kalye Dado
Dyutam phanam striyasuna
Dutam Panam Istriye Shuna
Yatra dharmas chaturvidha
Yatra Dharmas Chaturvida
Sutta Vacha
Suta Uvacha
Abhyartitastadha tasmai
Abhyarthitastada Tasmai
Sthanani kalaye dadau
Asthanani Kalye Dado
Dyutham phanam striyasuna
Dyutam Panam Istriya Shuna
Yatra dharmas chaturvidha
Yatra Dharmas Chaturvida
Is it saying?
Suta Uvacha
Sutta Vacha
Abhyarthita Astada Tasmai
Abhyartitastadha tasmai
Asthanani Kalye Dado
Sthanani kalaye dadau
Dyutam Panam Istriya Shuna
Dyutham phanam striyasuna suna
Yatra Dharmas Chaturvida
Yatra dharmas chaturvidha. Translation purport by Divine Grace Abhay Charanarinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai
Synonyms. Sutta Uvacha, Sutta Goswami said,
Suta Uvacha Suta Goswami said
Abhyartitha, thus being petitioned,
Abhyarthita thus being petitioned
tada at that time,
Tada at that time
tasmai unto him,
Tasmai unto him
sthanani places,
Asthanani places
kalaye to the personality of Kali,
Kali to the personality of Kali.
Dadau gave him permission.
Dadao gave him permission.
Dyutam gambling.
Dyutam gambling.
Panam drinking.
Panam drinking.
Striya illicit association with women.
Striya illicit association with women.
Suna animal slaughter.
Suna animal slaughter.
Yatra wherever.
Yatra wherever.
Adharma sinful activities.
Adharma sinful activities.
Chatuvida four kinds of.
Chaturvida four kinds of.
Translation, please repeat after me. Suta Goswami said,
Suta Goswami said,
Maharaja Parikshit, thus being petitioned by the personality of Kali,
Maharaja Parikshit, thus being petitioned by the personality of Kali,
gave him permission to reside in places where
gave him permission to reside in places where
gambling, drinking, prostitution, and animal slaughter were performed.
gambling, drinking, prostitution, and animal slaughter were performed.
Purport.
Purport. The basic principles of irreligiosity, such as pride, prostitution, intoxication, and falsehood, counteract the four principles of religion, namely austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. The personality of Kali was given permission to live in four places particularly mentioned by the king, namely the place of gambling, the place of prostitution, the place of drinking, and the place of animal slaughter. Srila Jiva Goswami directs that drinking against the principles of scriptures, such as the Sautramani Yajna, association with women outside marriage, and killing animals against the injunction of scriptures are irreligious. In the Vedas, two different types of injunctions are there for the pravitto, or those who are engaged in material enjoyment, and for the nibrito, or those who are liberated from material bondage. The Vedic injunction for the pravitto is to gradually regulate their activity towards the path of liberation. Therefore, for those who are in the lowest stage of ignorance and who indulge in wine, women, and flesh, drinking by performing Sautramani Yajna, association of women by marriage, and flesh eating by sacrifice are sometimes recommended. Such recommendations in the Vedic literature are meant for a particular class of men and not for all. But because they are injunction of the Vedas for particular types of person, such activities by the pravitto are not considered adharma. One man's food may be poison for others. Similarly, what is recommended for those in the mode of ignorance may be poison for those in the mode of goodness. Sri Jiv Goswami Prabhu therefore affirms that recommendation in the scriptures for a certain class of men are never to be considered adharma or irreligious. But such activities are factually adharma and they are never to be encouraged. The recommendation in the scriptures are not meant for the encouragement of such adharma, but for regulating the necessary adharma gradually toward the path of dharma. Following in the footsteps of Maharaja Parikshit, it is the duty of all executive heads of states to see that the principles of religion, namely austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness, are established in the state, and that the principles of religion, namely pride, illicit female association or prostitution, intoxication, and falsity, are checked by all means. And to make the best use of a bad bargain, the personality of Kali may be transferred to places of gambling, drinking, prostitution, and slaughterhouse. If there are any places like that, those who are addicted to these irreligious habits may be regulated by the injunctions of the scripture. In no circumstances should they be encouraged by any state. In other words, the state should categorically stop all sorts of gambling, drinking, prostitution, and falsity. The state which wants to eradicate corruption by majority may introduce the principles of religion in the following manner. First, 2 compulsory fasting days in a month, if not more austerity. Even from the economic point of view, such 2 fasting days in a month in the state will save tons of food, and the system will also act very favorably on the general health of the citizens. 2.
Haribol, na படிக்க. There must
There,
be compulsory marriage of young boys and girls attaining 24 years of age and 16 years of age. Scroll up. Respectively, there is no harm in co-education in the schools and colleges, provided the boys and girls are duly married, and in case there is any intimate connections between a male and female student, they should be married properly without illicit relation. The Divorce Act is encouraging prostitution and this should be abolished. The citizens of the state must give in charity up to 50% of the income for the purpose of creating a spiritual atmosphere in the state or in human society, both individually and collectively. They should preach the principle of Bhagavatam by a karma yoga or doing everything for the satisfaction of the Lord. Regular hearing of the Srimad Bhagavatam from authorized persons or realized souls. Chanting of the glories of the Lord congregationally at home or at places of worship. Rendering all kinds of service to Bhagavatas engaged in preaching Srimad Bhagavatam and residing in a place where the atmosphere is saturated with God consciousness. If the state is regulated by the above process, naturally there will be a God consciousness everywhere. Gambling of all description, even speculative business enterprises, is considered to be degrading, and when gambling is encouraged in the state, there is a complete disappearance of truthfulness, allowing young boys and girls to remain unmarried more than the above mentioned ages, and licensing animal slaughterhouses of all description should be at once prohibited. The The flesh eaters may be allowed to take flesh as mentioned in the scriptures and not otherwise. Intoxication of all descriptions, even smoking cigarettes, chewing tobacco, or the drinking of tea, must be prohibited. Haribol.
Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Jaya Pataka Swaminiti Namine Namo Acharya Padaya Nitaya Kripa Pradayane Gaura Katadhamadaya Nagara Grama Tharine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavade Paschatya Desatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Dvaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Hriharaya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Gopala Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudhanam Mukam Karo Divachalam Pangulangai Tegirimat Kripata Muhammad Sri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Mishra Hari. So this verse gives a lot of purport by Srila Prabhupada because this is the verse where Kali is accommodated by Maharaja Parikshit because he has petitioned. But Kali has agreed for Maharaja Parikshit has given permission for the Kali to agree the places of gambling, drinking, prostitution, and animal slaughters were performed. He can stay nowhere else. And these four were missing in the reign of Maharaja Parikshit. So this is the basic principles of irreligiosity. So we must understand that dharma and adharma. So irreligiosity means adharma. So as soon as there is discrepancies in the discharge of religious principle, abhyudhanam adharmasya, and there is prominence of irreligiosity, tadatmanam srujamyaham, at that time I descend, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. So this irreligiosity is due to Kali's, entrance into this particular age. So there are two things, dharma and adharma. So religiosity and irreligiosity. Religiosity means to abide by the orders of God, and irreligiosity means to disobey the orders of God. That's all. Simple thing. But in this connection, we must know what is the order of God. What is God? How he orders, how to execute, how we become fit for executing orders. These are all the things to be taught to the citizens. These questions are there. And God or Krishna, he is speaking personally that this is my order. In Bhagavad Gita, you will find very simple thing. What Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. First of all, he establishes himself that I am the Supreme Lord. Matta paradaram nanyat kinchit asti dhananjaya. Chapter 7, verse 7 of Bhagavad Gita. So the Mayavadis, they also think that I am also Krishna. I can also speak. No, that you cannot do. Just like we are singing this song daily, no? Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadari. So it is Krishna is playing with the gopis. So the Sahajya take it very easily. But Giri Varadari, oh, that is very difficult thing. That these people cannot do. So he raised the whole Govardhana hill in his finger when he was a very small child of 7 years old, or maybe 5. That nobody is imitating. But Gopijana Vallabha, you are Gopi, I am Krishna, so let us enjoy. This is Sahajya. Sahajya. That is going on. So we need to understand Krishna's position. Don't imitate Krishna, but hear Krishna, what says. Then our life is successful. We cannot imitate God. We have to simply follow his order. That is dharma. And if you try to imitate, that is adharma. Because dharma means follow the order of God. And adharma means imitating Krishna or God. That is adharma. So don't try to imitate. Anukarna, Anusharana. Two things are there. Anukarana means imitation and Anusharana means following. So we have to execute Anusharana, follow. So that is very important. And Parikshit Maharaj, he has inquired Sukadev Goswami. Krishna, he came to establish Dharma, but it appears that he danced with others' wife or others' daughter. According to Vedic civilization, you cannot mix with any other woman except your wife. So that is not allowed. So according to Vedic conception of life, it was not right thing that Krishna danced with others' wife or others' daughter. This question was put. Parikshit Maharaj said that Krishna, because he is God, he cannot do anything wrong. Just like, in certain constitution like England, the king can do no wrong, they say. So king cannot be subject to any law. Similarly, when Krishna danced with the gopis, it has got a deep meaning because they are all devotees of Krishna. They did not know except Krishna anything, and they prayed to the Kartyayini, a wife of Lord Shiva. Although they were married, they prayed to Kartyayini before they were married that let Krishna become my husband. So Krishna is so beautiful. Naturally, there is attraction. Krishna means all attractive. And they were not ordinary women. They are eternal consorts of associates of Krishna. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitaabhi. So they are expansion of Krishna. They are not ordinary women. Expansion of Krishna. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikruti Hladini Shakti Hasmad. The gopis, the Radharani, they are expansion of the spiritual energy of Krishna. Don't think they are ordinary women. They are Krishna Shakti, Shakti Mathora Abheda. They are not different from Krishna. But to give Krishna pleasure, Krishna expands himself by his spiritual energy, Ananda Hladini, spiritual energy, Sandini Hladini. That is the expansion of his pleasure potency. It is not that to imitate gopis. That is Sahajya. So we should not. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabhes Tabirya Eva Nija Rupa Taya Kalabhi Goloka Eva Nivasati Akilatma Bhutho Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So when Krishna wants pleasure, he is full spiritual. His pleasure is full spiritual. There is no question of material at all. It is very broadly described by Srila Jiva Goswami. So Jiva Goswami, he describes about adharma also here. The drinking against the principles of scriptures, association with women outside marriage, killing animals against the injunction of scriptures are all irreligious. Similarly, Jiva Goswami, he also says that don't try to imitate. That is sahajya. We should know the position of Krishna is expansion of pleasure potency. So this is very, very important that we should not misunderstand by Krishna's activity. Say, the government maintains the criminal department. It should not be understood that government is under criminal department. So here we have these four regulative principles breakers. The Kali's disciples or Kali's agents. So government has to maintain a criminal department. Similarly, Krishna, he maintains Maya. That is not, does not mean that Krishna is under Maya. So, Maya is the backside. Apasrayam, adharma, irreligiosity is also described as the backside of Krishna. As I have got my backside, dharma, adharma. The front side of Krishna is called dharma and the backside of Krishna is called adharma. That means adharma is also there in Krishna, his backside, right? So, because adharma is also maintained by Krishna, and Krishna is not adharma. Krishna is not adharma. The Mayavadi philosophers say there is no difference between Maya and Krishna. There is so many different philosophical opinion, but we take Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's conclusion, Achintya Beda Beda, simultaneously one and different, because Maya is maintained by Krishna. Therefore, there is no difference between Krishna and Maya, but still Krishna is not under Maya. What is the difficulty in understanding? So, just like another example, there is darkness, but the sun is also there. Within this universe, the sun is there and the darkness is there. But sun is not under darkness. That we need to understand. Very clear, right? At the present moment, the darkness is there and the sun is also there. This darkness means absence of sun. So it is relative with sun. Because there is no sun, it is darkness. Actually, darkness does not have its existence as such to cover the sun, but the sun has its existence. So the darkness is dependent on the sun. The sun is not depending on the darkness because there is some barrier, some obstacle for passing the sunlight on this earth. Then the earth is in dark. So the darkness has no independent existence of its own. Because the sunlight is checked, therefore there is darkness. So darkness is not important. Neither darkness, this darkness can cover the sun. Otherwise, darkness is also there and sun is also there, but sun is not affected by darkness. So we are affected a portion of the fractional part of Krishna's body, part and parcel, covered by darkness. They are under material conditions. But Krishna is never under material condition. The Mayavadi philosophers may say, because Krishna has come before us. So, we need to understand from that light. Because Krishna has come here, therefore he is also in darkness. That is Mayavadi philosophy. Suppose the governor goes to inspect the jail and business of governor is also prison because he has come into the jail. So what is the difference between him and them? Avajananti ma muda. Immediately he is already muda and he becomes more muda, you see. He does not know. If Krishna comes here, then you think Krishna is also one amongst us. Avajananti ma muda. No. Krishna comes whenever there is a irreligion, in order to eradicate the irreligion. Now, Kali has all-pervading, he has trying to become all-pervading. Immediately, Krishna came, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He came to remove, to destroy the Kali, Kali Nashteva. He came to destroy the Kali. How? He has given that Yuga Dharma, Yuga Dharmasya. So he gave this particular Yuga Dharma to destroy the Kali as soon as the irreligion provoked so much in this particular Kali Yuga. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, 500 years ago, he came. He came after Kali has entered. After 4,500 years, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has advented here in the Kali Yuga. In order to eradicate the Kali, so he gave us the medicine with which you can get rid of Kali. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So that is the main important thing. In Kali Yuga, the irreligiosity will make very rapid progress. For example, you have cleanliness. Cleanliness is next to godliness. To take bath, to evacuate daily, to wash the teeth, wash clothing, this cleanliness process. But as the days of this Kali Yuga will make progress, you will find the system of hygienic cleanliness, both inside and outside, it will also be diminishing. Outside, cleanliness is by taking bath, inside by becoming Krishna conscious. So two kinds of cleanliness. Simply, if you take bath with soap outside and inside all rubbish thing, that is not cleanliness. Cleanliness means Bhya Bhayantra. Bhaya means outside, and without. Abhyantara means inside. So unless we are clean, unless we are pure, how we can make advance to approach the Supreme? Because the Supreme is described by Arjuna as the purest. Param Brahma Param Dhamma Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. In 10th canto, 12th words, Arjuna is telling that Krishna is the ultimate absolute truth and he is all pure. So he says, my dear Krishna, you are the Supreme Lord, Brahman, and Pavitram Paramam, you are Supreme Pure. There is no impurity at all. Impurity means material contamination. That is called impurity. And purity means spiritual life. So this cleanliness inside and outside, that is, in Kali Yuga, that will also reduce. So Jiva Goswami, so here giving the full descriptions, the pravritas and nivritas. The pravritas are those who are engaged in material enjoyment. And the nivritas, those who are liberated from the material bondage. So, what is the pravritas should do? That gradually regulate their activities toward the path of liberation, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. But in Kali Yuga, there is no dharma, first of all. Adharma vibhavat Krishna. So here full of adharma. And then, what to speak of other things? So, the Kali Yuga, only one thing is there. Because Kali Yuga is full of ignorance and people break all the four regulative principles, they all will indulge in wine, women, flesh, drinking by performing, Sautramani Yajna, association of women by marriage, and flesh eating by sacrifices, and sometimes recommended, of course. And these recommendations are for a particular class of men, Generally, in four classes of men in the society of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, nobody actually eats flesh. Sometimes the Kshatriya, because they have to go for hunting, for practicing, for waging war, they do that. And then those things are okay. But it is not the food of man, daily food of man. It is actually very, very abominable activity, or you can say sinful activity rather. Adharma, irreligious. And, the adharma is, because of this Kali, now very rapidly spreading all over. That is, Srila Prabhupada has given us four regulative principles. Because the government is recommending and sanctioning loan for maintaining slaughterhouses, creating slaughterhouses. So how you can expect that government to maintain religiosity or God consciousness in the society? Everybody, the so-called scientists, the researchers, the government, the education system, the factories and industries, everything is dovetailed towards to increase the sense gratification, which they cannot actually. Because sense gratification is you will get only how much you are destined by your past activity. You cannot actually enhance it. It is not possible. Your dog is eating, and what satisfaction it gets on the street by eating, the same satisfaction a man also gets when he's eating in a five-star luxury esteem apartment or hotel on a costly dining chair and table with several servants around him. But the eating is the same enjoyment only is getting our dog is getting. Similarly, sleeping also, he may be sleeping in a very high esteemed cushion, so bed, but the dog is also sleeping on the street, and there is no difference in the enjoyment that both of them are receiving. So, why unnecessarily brave committing sinful activities and trying to increase the sense gratification? That will not really yield sense gratification also, because the more he gets, not the senses are satisfied, but the senses are becoming greedy. He becomes more greedy only. If he doesn't get what he wants, he gets angry. If he gets what he wants, he is becoming greedy. So in neither way he can satisfy the senses. The only way to satisfy the senses is the nivritas, those who are regulating their senses by dovetailing the senses in the service of the, owner of the senses, Krishikesha. Krishikena Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. And how it should be done? Sarvopadi, Sarva Upadi Vinirmuktam. Give up all other designations. Okay. Then you perform the devotional service, regulate the senses in by serving the Krishika Isha, the controller of the senses. It is not our sense, so we cannot enjoy. But if the senses are engaged in the service of the senses of Lord Krishna, then Krishna is the enjoyer, no? So through the senses, you will also receive that enjoyment. That is the way. If you want water, you have to connect the pipe to the water tank which has the water. So if you want to receive pleasure to the senses, you have to connect your senses to the senses of the reservoir of pleasure, which is Krishna. That is why in Hare Krishna, the Rama means reservoir of pleasure. So by chanting the holy name, because he is non-different from his own name, when you chant Hare Krishna by using your senses, what happens is you are connecting to the senses of a reservoir of pleasure. Then naturally you will yield that particular pleasure, isn't it? And he is not a pleasure tank that can become empty. He is all attractive, he is reposed and is unlimited, and he is one without a second. So everybody has a special relationship, specific relationship with Krishna. It's very, very simple process and natural process. What we are doing here in the material world, considering oneself as the body we are living, is an unnatural situation. That is why it is temporary. It's keep on changing. But eternally, we are Jiveru Swarupohaya Nitya Krishna Dasa. So that is our constitutional position. And here, that is why Srila Prabhupada has given us a chance by following four regulative principles. Following four regulative principles is nothing spiritual. All the four regulative principles are to maintain you as a sinless person. Once you are sinless, because the four principles of Kali, the gambling, illicit sex, intoxication, and meat eating. So these four are the pillars of sinful activity. Following four regulative principles, as Srila Prabhupada says, is to keep you away from the sinful activities or maintain you as a sinless. When you are sinless in such a mental state, when you started chanting the holy name of the Lord, then it is very easily you can progress spiritually and realize yourself as, okay, you don't belong to this particular category of material, anything. And you belong to Krishna actually, and then you can see Krishna face to face by the process of spiritual under bona fide spiritual master's instruction. And you can, not only that you will face Krishna face to face, you can also engage others in the similar services by engaging them in chanting the holy name of the Lord. So this is very, very important, and that is where Prabhupada is imposing on the four regulative principles. And Prabhupada very clearly says that principles of religion, how can be implemented by the governments of today. So he says that we must maintain Ekadasi. In month, 2 Ekadasis are there. How important is Ekadasi? So 2 compulsory fasting days in a month, if not more, of course. If you do it more, then it may be austerity. That's good. Even from the economic point of view, it's good, because 2 fasting days, entire state is fasting. You can see that how many tons of food that you will save. And system will also act very favorably. General health of the citizens will be maintained very good. What is the difficulty? In Sri Lanka, you can see from the government side, all the citizens, they are observing Poya Day. Poya Day is once in a month. It is Purnima Day. Okay. So it is called a Poya Day. So on that day, they want to meditate on Lord Buddha. Like that, government can maintain 2 fasting day, which is Ekadasi days. So by eating grain on Ekadasi, one is naturally even even vegetarian committing sinful activities. So better to fast on the day so that you can remain sinless, and tons of food grain will be saved. General health will improve. These are all very beautiful principles. And also, when the children grow young, the parents' responsibility is to get them married. And government should see to that every youth is getting married. This is very, very important. So there is no harm in co-education in the schools, Prabhupada says, subject to the condition that boys and girls are duly married. So in case any intimate connection between a male and female student, they should be married properly without illicit relation. That is what is maintained, because illicit sex means it is Kali, it is irreligion. And the divorce means what? I will divorce this person today, and tomorrow I will marry another person, and again I will divorce that person, and I will marry another person. This is called a prostitution. Legal or illegal, prostitution is prostitution. Similarly, the citizens of state, tax collection, this government is doing, taking money from the people, tax collection. But it should not be like tax, it should be like charity by the citizens voluntarily. If there will be good government, citizens would voluntarily give charity. Now, apart from collecting tax, they are also taking charity, flood relief, this relief, that relief fund. So many funds they have raised. So this is, but it should be used for creating a spiritual atmosphere within the state. By using that money everywhere, the government should, establish congregational chanting of the holy name. Now, for example, in India, the Ayodhya Ram Janma Bhoomi is being inaugurated. The government of India, Prime Minister Modi, he has announced that this celebration will go for 1 full month. And for chanting, the congregational chanting, he has invited ISKCON for 1 full month. Do the Hari Kirtan. This is government. One should be done like that all over, not only in Ayodhya. But everywhere, the government should provide such congregational chanting by inviting ISKCON so that the congregation chanting can be spread everywhere. So there are qualified, institution like ISKCON are available. Only the government has to invite. Okay, please, you do congregation chanting everywhere. I will organize everything, just like this Ayodhya they are doing. So that is wanted. This is very, very wonderful event. So congregational chanting and continuous 1 month celebration, this is not an ordinary thing. So God consciousness can be spread very nicely. Good book distribution, book prasadam distribution, book sankirtana, engaging all the people in chanting the holy name of the Lord. It will re-spiritualize the entire society, and that is wanted. So government should support so that, it is not only in Ayodhya, everywhere it should become Ayodhya. And that is possible because ISKCON is there everywhere and government support should be there similarly. So that regular hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam from authorized persons and regular chanting of the holy name of the Lord, all these things will definitely satisfy the Lord. So that is a purpose. And not only that, on one hand, while government is recommending this chanting of the holy name of the Lord in large scale amongst the population for a longer duration, they also should curb out the gambling. Gambling of all kind of descriptions. Gambling does not only mean, keeping money and playing cards or something. So even speculative business enterprises. So when gambling is encouraged in the state, then truthfulness will be lost. So the gambling should be discouraged. At least in India, we don't have such houses yet. But, the Kali is gradually spreading. But we should understand, our Kali should understand that ISKCON is also gradually spreading. And the governments have started giving support to ISKCON so that the Kali's stableness is checked now. Kali cannot stay without any restriction because the Hare Krishna movement is spreading in all places. There are youth preaching, there are youth forums. Young boys and girls, they are joining together and chanting the holy name of the Lord. They are engaging in Krishna consciousness. They are following for regulative principles, you see, very beautifully. They don't eat meat. So in this way, gradually what happens, this Hare Krishna movement will spread and then you can eradicate Kali very easily and you can enable an environment where everybody can achieve the goal of life, which is going back home, back to Godhead and eternally, constitutionally, originally engaging in our loving devotional service to Krishna based on our relationship. Thank you very much. Any questions or comments or realization, please do share with us.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
प्रभुजी इसमें दिया है, जो लोग निपट अज्ञानी हैं और सुरा सुंदरी तथा मांस के आदि हैं, उन्हें सौत्रामणि यज्ञ करके सुरापान करने, विवाह करके स्त्री का संसर्ग करने तथा यज्ञों द्वारा मांस खाने की कभी कभी अनुमति प्रदान की जाती है। तो ये कौन सा यज्ञ है जो सुरापान करने के लिए भी और मांस खाने के लिए भी आज्ञा देता है?
वो जो यज्ञ जो है उनको प्रमोट करने के लिए नहीं, बल्कि वो लोग विदाउट रिस्ट्रिक्शन जो मांस मछली खाते हैं उसे थोड़ा कम करने के लिए बनाया गया है। एनिमल सैक्रिफाइसेस आर देयर, ओके। वो इसलिए ताकि इनको चेक करे, ना कि वो अनलिमिटेडली जो है कभी भी सदा स्लॉटर हाउस को रन करके पूरा एनिमल्स को सैक्रिफाइस करे, ऐसा उसके लिए नहीं है। तो ये शास्त्रों में है हर जगह। फॉर एग्जाम्पल क्षत्रिय जो है वो लड़ाई के लिए अपने आप को तैयार करना पड़ता है, तो उसकी अभ्यास के लिए वो लोग जंगल में जाकर के हंटिंग करते हैं और हंटिंग करने के बाद जो जानवर को मारते हैं उस जानवर को वो राजा, क्षत्रिय मतलब राजा है, तो उसको उस जिस जानवर को मारता है उस जानवर को खाना जो है उसका क्षत्रिय धर्म है। क्यों खाता है? अपना सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन के लिए नहीं, बल्कि वो उसने अभ्यास के लिए उस जानवर को मारा था। इसलिए उस जानवर का जितने भी उसका जो वो क्या बोलता है रिएक्शन है वो अपने ऊपर ले लेता है वो। सो दैट्स अ काइंड ऑफ उसको खुद को सैक्रिफाइस हो रहा है, वहां पर एनिमल सैक्रिफाइस नहीं हो रहा है। सो दैट वो तो समझ में भी नहीं आएगा आजकल कलयुग के अंदर। तो शास्त्रों के अंदर हर चीज के लिए विधि दिया हुआ है, लेकिन वो किस समय पे करना है अभी वो विधि लागू नहीं है। तो शास्त्रों में जो मांस खाने का जो विधि है, जो यज्ञ करके मांस खाने का विधि है, वो यज्ञ जो है कलयुग में लागू नहीं है। कलयुग के अंदर एक ही यज्ञ लागू है, यज्ञानाम जप यज्ञोस्मि, कृष्ण भगवान से। तो ये जो जपा हरे कृष्ण जपा एक ही यज्ञ इस कलयुग के अंदर है। बाकी कोई यज्ञ जो है इसमें इतना कामयाब नहीं है। स्पेशली एनिमल किलिंग का जो यज्ञ एक भी जो है कलयुग के अंदर लागू नहीं है, लेकिन शास्त्रों में है।
धन्यवाद प्रभु।
हरि बोल।
हरि बोल।
जो आज का सरकार है, जो प्रभु वाला इनकार किया हुआ, वो सारे चीज को सरकार ही लेके चल रहा है। हाँ, यज्ञम संकीर्तन प्रयाज, जो इस चीज को सब अब कैसे ठीक कर सकता, कौन करेंगे इसको?
इस्कॉन करेगा।
हाँ।
जो भी इस्कॉन डिवोटी है उनका कर्तव्य है ये करने के लिए। यज्ञ संकीर्तन प्राय इजंत ही सुमेधशा। अभी
हम्म।
जैसे गवर्नमेंट का सपोर्ट लेकर के अयोध्या में अभी संकीर्तन होने वाला है 24 जनवरी से लेकर 24 फरवरी तक, एक महीना का।
हम्म।
इस तरह जो है गवर्नमेंट का सपोर्ट लेके हर जगह पे जो है हम फुल संकीर्तना को करना चाहिए। ऐसे समय पे एकदम हम जाके उसका फायदा उठा के गवर्नमेंट को हम भी फुल सपोर्ट दे करके कांग्रीगेशनल चैंटिंग को अगर आमंत्रित करेंगे, पूरा विनियोग करेंगे, तो गवर्नमेंट भी फुल सपोर्ट देना शुरू करेगा और पब्लिक को भी बहुत आकर्षित हो जाएगा धीरे धीरे धीरे, क्योंकि कृष्ण जो है आकर्षित इति कृष्ण। तो
हम्म।
इसलिए कृष्ण भगवान के आकर्षित की वजह से पब्लिक भी जो है धीरे धीरे उसमें बहुत जी इन्वॉल्व होने शुरू करेंगे। और फिर धीरे धीरे इस एक महीना का त्योहार को हर साल मनाना शुरू करेंगे वो। इस तरह का कांग्रीगेशनल चैंटिंग जो है विस्तार होता जाएगा। तब कली का
हम्म।
काम पर रहना
पहले
नामुमकिन हो
अभी
जाएगा।
ये अभी सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट में ये प्लान चल रहा है, अभी जैसे स्टेट गवर्नमेंट है, तो
हम्म।
इनको कैसे करेंगे? ये तो कोई यहाँ पर ऐसे कोई त्योहार मंदिर वगैरह नहीं खोलता, ये जो भी पुराना मंदिर से वगैरह इनको तोड़ते जा रहा, तो इनको हम कैसे करेंगे
हाँ, जैसा
इसको?
सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट करता है, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट का ही एक अंग है।
हाँ।
वो अपने अपनी स्टेट का उन्नति अगर वो चाहते हैं वो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को फॉलो करना चाहिए।
हम्म। हाँ।
और सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट भी स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को उस तरह का आदेश देना चाहिए।
या
उसके
तब
लिए
दो।
वक्त का होना जरूरी है। केवल सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट में वक्त है और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के अंदर जो है नास्तिक है, तो काम नहीं बनेगा।
नहीं
इसलिए
बनेगा।
कुछ वक्त ऐसी हैं जो कि पॉलिटिक्स के अंदर भी है। सो भक्तों को हर जगह होना जरूरी है ताकि पूरा पूरी तरह ये हरे कृष्ण भावनामृत को हम पूरी तरह फैला सके। इसके लिए
ओके।
बहुत ज्यादा भक्तों को बनाना जरूरी है। तो
हाँ।
पब्लिक के अंदर से ही सभी बनते हैं। पॉलिटिशियन कहाँ से आते हैं? पब्लिक के अंदर से आते हैं।
हाँ।
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 तो इसलिए
हाँ।
पब्लिक के अंदर हम भक्तों को बना के छोड़ेंगे बहुत ज्यादा, तो कोई पॉलिटिक्स बनेगा, कोई कुछ बनेगा, कोई कुछ बनेगा। तो हर जगह पे जो है कृष्ण भक्त हो तो वहां पर जो है पाप नहीं होगा, फिर वहां पर संकीर्तन हो सकता है। तो ये धीरे 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 ग्रेजुअल प्रोसेस।
ओके। ओके, हरी बोल।
हरी बोल। So thank you very much. We'll resume our class tomorrow morning at 7:30. Till then, Grandra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
जय
पतित पावन श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
जय।
वैष्णव प्रणाम।
वाञ्छा
कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री गुरु महाराज की जय। जय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि।